The exciting story begins by showing an old man named Milton, who lived in a town. Milton was very lonely in his life. Many years ago, his wife died in an accident, and now his son had left him. Only his daughter, Stacy, used to visit him to check on her father. However, Stacy didn't talk much to Milton. As the older he became, the worse his habits got. He would easily forget things, and Stacy was the one taking care of all his medication expenses. Milton would visit the town's head council every week, where people brought their complaints. Milton would tell the judges that a road should be built in front of his house, but such a big project couldn't be done just for one person. Therefore, all the members of the council would ask him to leave, saying they couldn't move forward with his request. After coming back home, Stacy would give Milton his medication because he had trouble taking it on his own. Stacy even gave him the number of a therapist who could help him with his deteriorating memory. But Milton insisted that he hadn't lost any of his memory and was perfectly fine. He refused to meet any therapist. Stacy didn't argue further and left after giving him his medicine. Milton continued to go to the council every time, getting humiliated, but he always put his request before them. One day, when Milton was at home, he heard something falling in his garden. He rushed to check and found a huge spaceship that had landed, destroying most of his garden. Milton was terrified and immediately called the security officers, but sadly, they didn't believe him when he mentioned the spaceship. They thought he was imagining things due to his mental condition, so they disconnected the call. Milton was angry but chose to forget the whole incident, thinking it was just a bad dream. The next day, Milton went to the council again and repeated his request that a road should be built in front of his house. However, once again, the council members dismissed him and asked him to leave. Milton also mentioned that a huge spaceship had landed in his garden the previous day, and an alien had come out of it. But the council members still didn't believe him and started laughing at his words. At that moment, a neighbor of Milton stood up and announced that she had written some books for the elderly people in the town to read, to help them feel encouraged and never lonely. The council approved her idea, and the books would be distributed to elderly and lonely people in the town. As Milton was leaving, the same neighbor approached him and told him that he shouldn't have said those things in front of the council because it creates a fearful atmosphere among people. But how could Milton explain that he wasn't joking? He was telling the truth. There was a spaceship in his garden, and an alien had come out of it. When Milton returned to his garden, he saw that the alien was still there and alive, but it seemed very cold. Milton felt pity for the alien, so he brought it a blanket and offered it some water. He then invited the alien into his house. The alien, very weak, slowly entered the house. Milton offered it a lot of food, but the alien only ate one slice of an apple. Milton thought that the alien might like apples, so he rushed to the supermarket and bought many apples. At the counter, he told the cashier that these apples were for his alien guest because the alien loved them. The cashier was shocked and thought that Milton had gone crazy and was saying strange things. Milton went back home and continued to take care of the alien, even giving it a separate room to stay in. After his daughter and son left, Milton was living alone at home. He told the alien all about his daily routine, watching TV, going outside, and resting a lot. Milton also shared details about his family, explaining that his wife had died many years ago, and because of that, his son left him. Only his daughter occasionally came to visit him. The alien didn't respond but simply listened to Milton's words. Milton was sitting on the sofa, watching the news on TV, where it was reported that scientists had discovered something unknown had collided with Earth. It could either be a spaceship or an asteroid, but it hadn't been determined yet. The news encouraged anyone who knew about this to report immediately. However, Milton wasn't paying much attention to the news, as he was busy with something else. The alien had moved closer to Milton, and it seemed to be recovering from its earlier weakness. Milton, noticing this, decided to engage with the alien and told it, "Come, watch this dance. It's a lot of fun. It'll make you feel better." Meanwhile, Stacy, Milton's daughter, was shopping at the supermarket when the employee there told her about something her father had said, that he was buying many apples for an alien. Stacy didn't know what to make of this, but the employee passed on the information to her. Concerned, Stacy felt very worried about her father's behavior. She took the rest of the day off and rushed back home. She told her father that he should consult a doctor to help with his memory problems. Milton agreed this time, as he didn't want his daughter to meet the alien. Stacy left after this conversation. Back at home, the alien was still sitting on the sofa, watching TV. A little while later, Milton received a call from his neighbor, the writer, who asked if she could use his printer to print something. Milton agreed, and the writer came over to his house. But as soon as she entered, she was shocked to see the alien sitting on the sofa. The writer was terrified when she saw the alien, but Milton reassured her, explaining that he had told her before that an alien lived in his house, and he was allowing it to live like a human. Milton took the writer outside to show her the crashed spaceship in the garden, explaining that the spaceship had landed there a few days ago, and the alien had come out of it. Since then, he had been keeping the alien at his home. The writer started to understand Milton's story, so she decided to keep the alien's existence a secret from everyone. They both agreed that the alien didn't seem harmful, but it was better to keep it hidden from the government. They feared that if the authorities found out about the alien, they would conduct unknown experiments on it. So, they decided to keep everything about the alien a secret. Meanwhile, government security officers were searching for the spaceship, and the FBI had also gotten involved. They were trying to figure out where the alien spaceship had crashed and how it had crashed. While all this was happening, Milton was asleep at home, and the alien began drawing strange pictures. When Milton woke up and saw the drawings, he thought the alien had made them for him. The drawings were of different types of cats. Milton then went outside to check on the alien and saw it repairing its spaceship. The alien seemed to be in much better condition now, as it was preparing to return to its home planet using the spaceship. At this point, Milton had gone to see a doctor at the request of his daughter, Stacy. The doctor was thoroughly examining Milton and gathering reports. The doctor asked him various questions to determine the kind of treatment he would need. But things took a turn for the worse when Milton gave strange and incorrect answers to the questions. His reports were becoming increasingly negative. While Milton was away, the alien was left alone at home. The writer came to check on the alien again, as it was now by itself. The writer sat down with the alien and began talking to it emotionally. She shared that her daughter lived in another city and had recently had a child, but she hadn't seen the baby yet because her daughter seemed to have forgotten her. The alien seemed to feel her emotions, though it didn't speak. Meanwhile, the doctor who had examined Milton told Stacy that Milton's condition was worsening. She explained that if his mental state continued like this, he would eventually go insane. The doctor advised Stacy that someone should stay with him as an assistant, or he should be placed in a nursing home where he could be constantly monitored. However, Milton didn't want either of these options and became extremely angry, distancing himself from Stacy. Stacy tried to explain that she was doing this for his own good, but Milton repeatedly rejected her suggestions, insisting that he wasn't crazy. Angry and frustrated, Milton went home and didn't answer the writer's questions about his checkup. He stormed upstairs, and the alien observed all of this. The next day, Milton went to the alien again, who was still repairing its spaceship. Milton began sharing his feelings, telling the alien about how his daughter doubted him and believed he had lost his mind. Milton felt like no one took him seriously because of his old age, and people didn't want to be around him. Feeling disheartened, Milton returned to his home and tried calling his son, hoping to convince him to return. He told his son that he missed him and was alone, but as usual, his son ignored his call and disconnected it. Meanwhile, a singer was watching the news and noticed an announcement by the government offering rewards for anyone who reported information about spaceships and aliens. She remembered that a few days ago, Milton had also been talking about aliens and a spaceship. To confirm her suspicions, she decided to go to Milton's garden and check for herself. Milton had invited the singer and the writer into his home, and they were sitting at the dining table together with the alien. When the singer saw the alien, she was completely shocked and couldn't comprehend that aliens actually existed. Milton and the writer quickly told her that she should not tell anyone about the alien because revealing it could put the alien's life in danger. The next day, the singer and the writer had taken good care of the alien, dressing it up and even naming it Jules. They treated the alien with great affection. The singer shared with the alien that she had always wanted to become a famous singer, but now, due to her age and the decline in her voice, it seemed impossible. However, she still held on to her dream of becoming a singer one day. Meanwhile, the writer, who had written a book for the elderly, received a call from a man asking for several copies of the book for his grandfather. The writer invited the man over to provide him with the books. While they were discussing the book, the man asked to use the bathroom. The writer showed him the way, but after a while, the man didn't return. The writer became concerned and went to check, only to realize that the man was trying to steal from her house. In a panic, the writer tried to make noise to alert everyone, but the man caught her and began attacking her. Meanwhile, Milton was still at home with the alien, and the alien had a vision of the writer being attacked by the unknown man. Though the alien couldn't speak, it used its mental powers to connect its mind cells with the man's, and by applying some of its energy, the alien caused the man's head to explode. The man immediately died on the spot. Soon after, the police arrived and started questioning the writer about the incident. The writer was still confused about how everything had happened with the man's death, and even the police were puzzled. As a result, the case was handed over to the FBI, who began keeping a close watch on the writer. After some reflection, the writer realized that it was the alien Jules, who had helped her during the attack. She immediately went to Milton's house and hugged Jules, thanking him. Jules, however, remained silent, continuing to work on his spaceship. The next day, Milton went to the supermarket again to buy more apples for Jules. His daughter, Stacy, confronted him, asking why he kept buying so many apples. Milton didn't respond and left quickly. At home, while having dinner with the writer and the singer, they heard a noise from outside. When they went to check, they found a dead cat lying in the yard, which Jules had brought. This made Milton and the others realize that Jules likely needed 7 cats, as he had been drawing pictures of 7 cats on paper. Now that one cat's body had been collected, they figured Jules needed 6 more. They speculated that it might be part of some ritual to help him return to his planet. Milton called Stacy, who worked in the animal department, asking her where dead cats were typically buried. Stacy, confused and slightly scared, didn't respond directly, but she started watching her father closely. Determined to find the remaining cats, Milton, the writer, and the singer set off to collect the cat bodies. While driving around town, they encountered another cat, which was hit by their car and killed. They decided to add this dead cat to their collection. However, their actions were observed by some FBI agents, who were now suspicious about why they were gathering dead cats. The situation was becoming more complicated, as the FBI was beginning to connect these strange events to their investigation. After the FBI increased surveillance on them, Milton and his companions found another dead cat on their way. With that, they now had 3 dead cats, still needing 4 more. The singer told them she had identified a spot where they could find more dead cats, urging Milton not to worry about the remaining ones. She worked hard, traveling around town, and eventually returned with 3 more dead cats. Now they had 6, and only 1 cat was left. Suddenly, the singer noticed FBI officers outside their house, coming to interrogate them. Fearing the worst, they chose not to respond, which made the officers think no one was inside, so they left. Milton then informed the singer and the writer that they still needed 1 more cat. Milton decided that they would kill the singer's cat, which was already sick. When the singer heard this, she became furious and went inside, devastated at the thought of killing her beloved cat. She fell into deep depression and began crying. The writer tried to console her, suggesting that Milton might have said that under pressure. However, the singer eventually understood that Milton might have been right. Her cat had been suffering for a while, and perhaps it would be kinder to end its suffering. After much emotional turmoil, the singer finally decided to put her cat to rest, giving it a peaceful sleep. She had to kill her own cat to fulfill the final requirement. Once this was done, Jules, the alien, collected the 7 cat bodies and placed them near his spaceship, covering them with a silver cloth. The bodies began to merge, transforming into a red diamond. Jules then used this diamond as fuel in his spaceship, which was now fully repaired and ready to fly. With everything set, Jules could finally return to his planet. As Jules opens the door to his spaceship, he invites Milton to join him, offering a chance to leave Earth and travel to his planet. Milton, feeling lonely and estranged from his family, contemplates the offer. However, just as he's considering it, he receives a call from his daughter, Stacy. She apologizes for her behavior and expresses her pride in him as her father, reassuring him that she will never leave him. Hearing these heartfelt words, Milton becomes deeply emotional. He realizes that Stacy will always be with him, and he is not alone. Grateful for his family's love, he decides to stay on Earth with them and decline Jules' offer. At that moment, FBI officers arrive, drawn by the sound of the spaceship starting. Jules quickly leads everyone into the spaceship to avoid detection, and they take off into the sky. By the time the officers arrive, the spaceship has already flown away. Jules takes the ship far away from the city and lands in a secluded area, where he gently tells everyone to get out. Milton, now sure of his decision to stay, along with the writer and singer, thanks Jules for his kindness and understanding. Despite being from a different world, Jules' behavior toward humans had been remarkably compassionate. Milton shakes his hand, thanking him once more, and then Jules enters his spaceship and leaves Earth, heading back to his home planet. After Jules leaves, Milton is left alone but no longer feels isolated. He now has two good friends in the writer and the singer. The three of them bond, sharing their sorrows and joys, and supporting each other. With the companionship of his new friends, Milton no longer feels the loneliness that once consumed him. And so, the story concludes with Milton finding peace and connection, all thanks to his unusual encounter with Jules, the alien.